This is KDKA-TV News at noon.
Good afternoon. I'm Malcolm McNulty.
And I'm Vanessa Herring. Sunny Abata and Stacy Smith have the day off.
In the news this afternoon, a lot of people have their windows open because of the heat. But if you have small children around, that can be dangerous. A 6-year-old boy fell from a third-floor window of this home on Sheffield Street in the city's Manchester section. Neighbors say the boy had a cut on his head and was bleeding from his ear, but otherwise seemed all right.
As far as I'm concerned, there's no visible marks from a little boy falling from a third-floor window and running around and looking the way he looked. I gotta go to my church.
The unidentified boy was taken to Children's Hospital for treatment. Authorities are checking with his 2 aunts who were home at the time to try and determine how he managed to fall out of the window.
An investigation is also underway after a little boy wandered away from his home in Wilkinsburg. The boy, believed to be 2 years old or younger, walked 5 or 6 blocks Tuesday before he was noticed. Police say he was unharmed but crossed at least 2 busy streets. Officers questioned the boy's parents, and at this time no charges were filed, but investigation is continuing. One of the victims of Monday morning's shooting at Touch nightclub in the Strip District is improving. A woman who suffered a fractured skull has been upgraded from critical to stable condition. Police are still looking for the person who opened fire on the second-floor balcony of the nightclub, wounding 8 people.
Some people who live in Pittsburgh East End are outraged a graffiti vandal got off with little punishment. Residents say Daniel Montano has been wreaking havoc in their neighborhood for years. One neighborhood watch group has documented his signature tag in over 80 places, but a judge sentenced Montano this week to just 5 days already served in jail and restitution of $1,000. You may want to check your car after listening to this report. Small cars that can be chopped into parts and sold for use by street racers dominate the list of most stolen autos in the United States. 6 of the top 10 were models of the Acura Integra. An industry group that tracks thefts says the Integra has a powerful engine that can easily be swapped into a lighter Honda Civic, making it a quick street racer. The #1 most stolen car last year was the 2001 BMW M Series Roadster.
Thousands visited our area during the All-Star Game events played in our area last month. But as Malik Vincent reports, the city is still working to determine the benefits.
It's been nearly a month since the All-Star Game came to Pittsburgh, bringing with it thousands of visitors from out of town. The hope was the big game would also bring in big money to the city. So did Pittsburgh hit a financial home run?
We're really looking at a $1.5 million revenue generator from Major League Baseball. The expenses probably are somewhere, I'm hoping less, so that the city made some money off of it.
Councilman Bill Peduto says the final bills are not in yet, but both the city and the region did see some benefits.
Namely, parking revenue, with additional people paying for parking during those 4 days. We're certainly going to see a bump in our parking revenue. Amusement tax, there's a 5% amusement tax on tickets. Then people go to the games that they're going to be paying. There were 4 days. The tickets for the All-Star Game and for the Home Run Derby were very expensive. We'll see a bump in that. But what the city doesn't see, but the region sees, is a boost because of things like the hotel stays, taxi cabs, restaurants, shopping.
Someone who knows a lot about hotel stays is Tom Hemer. He's the Director of Sales and Marketing for the Pittsburgh Renaissance Hotel. And in the normally slow month of July, business was more than good.
It would be about 33% more than we usually do. We were sold out for almost 4 consecutive nights. And each night, obviously, that's 300 occupied rooms, and it's probably about 500 people to ballpark it that were in the hotel for that time. It was a lot of work for our staff, but we pulled it off very nicely, and we were very pleased.
Councilman Peduto was pleased, too, for more than just financial reasons.
On a level as a city councilman, I was proud. I was very proud of Pittsburgh because I heard what people were saying as they were walking around. And the one comment that I heard someone say as they were looking out the skyline is, "This is the most beautiful city in America." And that made me proud.
The financial benefits of the All-Star Game were great, but local leaders say there's one thing on which you can't put a price tag. That's the national exposure that the All-Star Game brought to Pittsburgh. I'm Malik Vincent reporting from Mount Washington for KDKA-TV News.
A city councilman's plan to add a referendum question on the November ballot to shrink council is dead. Jim Motznick was seeking a resolution to cut council from 9 members to 7. But the deadline for submitting the question to the Elections Division is Tuesday, and an activist filed petitions asking for a public hearing on the resolution. Motznick says it's impossible to give residents adequate notice, conduct the hearing, and vote on the measure by the deadline.
Sexually transmitted diseases are on the increase in Allegheny County. Wait until you learn the group that's being hurt the most.
Plus, find out what Hollywood movie star is doing to stop falling opinion about him. Stay tuned.
Cooler temperatures are on their way, so stay tuned, and I'll be back with your 5-day forecast.
It affects many people's lives. It could be just something little as what you're going to wear, or it could be something big like natural disasters. And I wanted to find out which station was the most accurate. The first step in my procedure was to record the 5-day temperature predictions for the 3 local news stations. What I found out during this experiment was that KDKA is the most accurate at predicting the 5-day forecast.
This is the show for you. You can't change what you don't acknowledge. Every family needs a hero. You can make a difference. This is your family. Do you want to be right, or do you want to be happy? That's an honest answer. Change is good. I love my job. New season, new station.
This September, Dr. Phil's new home is KDKA-TV.
The United States today announced a project to launch space satellites.
From the pioneers of yesterday.
I'll face the future when I come to it.
To the news leaders of today.
Obviously, this is a dangerous situation.
From the places we remember to those where memories are made.
The Steelers out to win their 4th Super Bowl victory.
Time goes by.
You can kiss it goodbye.
Moments are forever.
A Honduran immigrant is charged with sexually assaulting a 16-year-old girl seated next to him on a Greyhound bus. State police arrested the man at the Monroeville interchange of the Turnpike. They say he pretended to be asleep and later sexually assaulted the girl. After the assault, the girl ran to the bus bathroom and attempted to call police from her cell phone. She also told the driver that what happened, and he called 911.
The son of a Fayette County official faces house arrest in an assault that left another official unconscious. 30-year-old Michael Latkanish is the son of a Washington Township supervisor. He pleaded guilty to simple assault for an incident in October involving another township supervisor, Chuck Yusko. Latkanish and Yusko got into a bar argument outside a bar, which turned physical. Yusko suffered a broken nose and 2 broken ribs. Despite sex education in schools, teenagers apparently don't learn about sexually transmitted diseases other than HIV and AIDS until it's too late for prevention, early detection, or prompt treatment. As Jasmine Shaw reports, many in the medical community are trying to get the word out.
Sexually transmitted diseases, or STDs, are on the rise. According to Dr. Pamela Murray, the chief of adolescent medicine at Children's Hospital, there are various reasons for this.
It's a bigger problem these days. In part because we're looking and discovering STDs that might have already been there. So some numbers that look like things are going up, maybe that things are about the same, but we're really able to find problems better.
Education is crucial when it comes to students and the topics of STDs.
Every school had to provide some HIV prevention education. So when we ask teenagers about different STDs, almost all of them can answer most of the questions about HIV correctly.
Preteens are more likely to be affected because they are not aware of the many diseases involved.
For all the other STDs, including chlamydia and gonorrhea, syphilis we mentioned, but also herpes and human papillomavirus and some of the other viruses, people had very little knowledge, and often what they thought they knew wasn't correct.
Which of these is more important, abstinence or using protection?
It's not an either or question. It's a both.
15-year-old Sasha Bethel Beckley says her peers need to be more informed about the risk and the dangers.
A lot of kids don't know about STDs, so that's why they're getting spread more around.
According to Dr. Murray, the STDs increase is caused by the lack of knowledge in teenagers today. This is Jasmine Shaw reporting from downtown Pittsburgh with KDKA-TV News.
A third experimental blast The first to try to replicate conditions at the Sago mine, where 12 miners died in January, is scheduled for Friday. This time, scientists will try to recreate both the placement and construction of the seals at Sago. The blast is part of a series designed to determine why a methane explosion behind a sealed-off portion of the Sago mine destroyed the seal. There are no specifics, but Cuban leader Fidel Castro has issued another statement saying his health is stable and he's in good spirits. The 80-year-old president temporarily handed over power to his younger brother Raul after intestinal surgery. Many called the latest statement government propaganda and say Castro may in reality already be dead or critically ill.
Some local law firms are joining in a growing trend. Stay tuned and find out what.
And Kimberly Blocker will be here with your weekend forecast.
States today announced a project to launch space satellites.
From the pioneers of yesterday
I'll face the future when I come to it.
to the news leaders of today.
Obviously, this is a dangerous situation.
From the places we remember to those where memories are made.
The Steelers out to win their 4th Super Bowl victory.
Time goes by.
You can kiss it goodbye.
Moments are forever.
The weather affects many people's lives. It could be just something little as what you're going to wear, or it could be something big like natural disasters. And I wanted to find out which station was the most accurate. The first step in my procedure was to record the 5-day temperature predictions for the 3 local news stations. What I found out during this experiment was that KDKA is the most accurate at predicting the 5-day forecast.
This is the show for you. You can't change what you don't acknowledge. Every family needs a hero. You can make a difference. This is your family. Do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? That's an honest answer. Change is good. I love my job. New season, new station.
This Monday, Dr. Phil's new home is KDKA-TV.
Well, Malcolm, with the beautiful weather, I'm wondering if it's going to continue.
Same here, Vanessa. Let's see what weatherwoman Kimberly Blocker has to say.
Thanks, Malcolm, and hello to the viewers at home. Let's look at our local weather for today. As you can see, our high today was 91 degrees with a low of 76, but our average last year reached around 83 degrees with a low of 63. Right now, we have a humidity of 93%, which is pretty hot. 73 is our current temperature with a wind moving at 12 miles per hour and a barometer at 29.93 and a dew point at 69. Right now, as you can see in Prospect, we have 72 degrees, Oakdale, 72 also, New Staten, 76, Morgantown, even hotter, reaching around 82 degrees. Let's see what we have coming up next. Darlington, only 70 degrees along with Freeport. Washington reached 77 degrees today, and Dunbar, 79. Right now, it seems we have a bit of some T-storms going on around in our area, but as you can see in the higher portion of our map, we have a low front coming in. As you see our map moving in, we're reaching cooler temperatures, so that means we don't have to worry too much about the heat. Tonight, warm and muggy with scattered showers and some thunderstorms. Low around 69 degrees, which is a bit better compared to which we've reached over the last couple of days. Tomorrow, some morning showers, so make sure you carry that umbrella, folks, with some clouds and sun, but not as humid with a high of 83 degrees. Now for our 5-day forecast. As you can see, on Tuesday, I'm sorry about that, folks, Friday, 83 degrees with a low of 69. Saturday, 84 with 60 degrees. Sunday, 85 degrees is our high with a low of 65. Monday, we're going to reach around 84 degrees with our low at 68. And finally, Tuesday, 80 degrees with a low of 60. So as you can see, we're going to reach some cooler temperatures later on, so no more scorchers for us.
Well, that sounds a lot better than the last week, Kimberly. Thank you for that. Dozens of people met to talk about a newly configured film office. Elected officials, union leaders, producers, and behind-the-scenes players in the movie business emerged from yesterday's meeting with a committee that will continue to hammer out the details. The group did agree that a new office should bring in outside production while taking in local interests. 8 women plan to declare themselves Roman Catholic priests during a ceremony in Pittsburgh, and 4 others plan to declare themselves deacons, and they all risk excommunication. The Catholic Diocese of Pittsburgh says anyone who attends the ceremonies may also be excommunicated. If you get in trouble with the law, could you afford an attorney? Well, one local firm is showing how the average person can afford legal representation. Anchor Vanessa Herring reports.
Did you know more than 85 million Americans belong to prepaid legal plans? Why is that? Damian Foster, an independent associate of Prepaid Legal, can give you an answer.
What we do is provide legal access to the average American. Basically, simply put, what we do is with health care and HMOs do for doctor bills and hospital bills, we do the same thing for legal fees and attorneys.
And according to Foster, they won't assign a lawyer to your case without careful consideration.
We do work with law firms, so any attorney or any area that you have an issue with law in, then we have an attorney that specializes in that issue to actually represent you. So if you do have a tax issue, you get a tax attorney. The landlord tenant issue, you have an attorney that deals with real estate. If you have an attorney, a family law issue, then you have a family law attorney. So we specialize in every area of law as well.
It seems like their plan for helping people gain access to the legal system is working especially well for plan member James Prude.
I definitely believe that. Without the service, all of the legal services that I received, I would not have pursued. Okay. Just knowing how expensive the justice system is.
But they don't stop there. Prepaid Legal is also trying to help people help themselves by presenting them with a business opportunity.
Personally, really just, I guess, lifestyle change. Because like I said, that extra $500 to $1,000 a month can increase extremely fast to an extra $3,000 to $4,000 a month. And when it's extra, once again, like anything else, when you have extra cash flow, just makes life a little bit more easier.
Hopefully, you don't end up here in court. But if you do, Prepaid Legal Services will provide you with an attorney specializing in your case. Reporting from the County Courthouse, I'm Vanessa Herring for KDKA-TV News. Mel Gibson has offered a second apology for making anti-Semitic remarks during a drunk driving arrest. He is begging Jewish leaders to meet with him to find what he calls the appropriate path for healing. The latest apology went far beyond the first by addressing Jewish groups directly. Gibson said he is not a bigot and that hatred of any kind goes against his faith. Jewish groups say they want to see proof of his repentance before meeting with him.
I would like to believe that Mel Gibson, these are his words, these are his thoughts, but skeptical still because these are PR words.
Prosecutors are reviewing the arrest report to decide what, if any, charges will be filed against Gibson. Meantime, a civilian watchdog group investigating allegations of a cover-up by the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department said a preliminary review found deputies appeared to have handled Gibson's arrest properly. 25 years ago today, the music world was turned upside down when MTV hit the airwaves. The network launched on August 1st, 1981 at 12:01 a.m. with, fittingly, the video for Video Killed the Radio Star. But don't look for a big silver anniversary celebration on MTV. The network, which caters to a decidedly younger audience, doesn't want to remind viewers that it's getting older.
Nearly 10 years after his death, the Los Angeles Police Department is launching a new investigation into the murder of rapper Notorious B.I.G. A new task force has been formed to look into Biggie's 1997 murder. The probe comes as the rapper's family is pursuing a wrongful death suit against the city. The family has claimed that members of the LAPD were involved in the shooting. Find out how some of your favorite players are doing in Steelers camp in today's Sport Report.
And you don't want to miss the story about a young group of people learning about journalism.
This is the show for you. You can't change what you don't acknowledge. Every family needs a hero. You can make a difference. This is your family. Do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? That's an honest answer. Change is good. I love my job. New season, new station.
This Monday, Dr. Phil's new home is KDKA-TV.
The weather affects many people's lives. It could be just something little as what you're going to wear, or it could be something big like natural disasters. And I wanted to find out which station was the most accurate. The first step in my procedure was to record the 5-day temperature predictions for the 3 local news stations. What I found out during this experiment was that KDKA is the most accurate at predicting the 5-day forecast.
The United States today announced a project to launch space satellites.
From the pioneers of yesterday
I'll face the future when I come to it.
to the news leaders of today.
Obviously, this is a dangerous situation.
From the places we remember to those where memories are made.
The Steelers out to win their 4th Super Bowl victory.
Time goes by.
You can kiss it goodbye.
Moments are forever.
There are a few sports that men play that some people believe women should not, football being one of them, but one local organization is working on changing the perception of women and contact football. Kimberly Blocker reports.
Helmets, shoulder pads, knee pads, football, and women. Pittsburgh is a city that loves its Steelers, but now there is another team to cheer for, the Pittsburgh Passion, a professional full-contact women's football team.
Football's football. It's not a men's sport. It's not a women's sport, so universal.
It's not easy. It's probably one of the hardest things I've done, just physically, mentally, but totally worth it.
Worth it for Eve Jackson and the more than 50 other local women who play on the Passion team. It's so popular that women come from all over Western Pennsylvania.
I'm surprised at the number that try out. We get over 60, 70 women trying out, and it's a hard selection process. Our first tryout, we had over 200.
Women from all walks of life and many different occupations. By day, Lisa Horton runs outreach programs for the YMCA, but on nights and weekends, she's the team's starting quarterback.
I threw football since I'd been about 6 years old, so it's something I played growing up, not in high school, but when I was in grade school. So.
But as professionals, the stakes are higher and the hits are harder.
Where hitting is like, oh, I have to hit them. If I miss them, then I'm in trouble.
Playing with the Passion means more than playing on the football field. This is a team committed to charity work as well.
We've grown so much in that area with community involvement, and we've done a lot with the YMCA, actually. We went into the Bell Suter Recreation Center, and we went to St. Clair Village and gave those kids football. They don't get that every day, so it was, stuff like that what makes us a little different than others.
The Pittsburgh Passion play here at the Couple Stadium on the south side. If you're interested in trying out, tryouts are this fall. Tackle your way on down. This is Kimberly Blocker reporting from the south side for KDKA-TV News.
Well, Malcolm, I'm wondering how some of my favorite players are doing at training camp.
Same here, Vanessa. Let's see what Malik has to say.
Well, it's a hot one up in Camp Cowher today. A couple of notes from Steelers training camp. Just a few days in and no major injuries. But number 2 wide receiver Cedric Wilson hurt his right Achilles yesterday and did not finish practice. He's listed as day-to-day, but his injury is not believed to be serious. Meantime, the news is getting better for Pro Bowl linebacker Joey Porter. He's still on the disabled list, but put in some good work yesterday, and Coach Cowher says he might be taken off that list sometime next week. Steelers wide receiver Hines Ward usually has to field passes at training camp, but lately he's fielding a lot of questions. And only KDKA was there when he spent time with dozens of kids. The Steelers have a kids fans club, and yesterday about 200 of them got to spend the day at camp, and they had lots of questions for the Super Bowl MVP, including how it felt to blow out Cleveland last year.
It's always good beating Cleveland. Cleveland is our most hated team that we really hate. So anytime we can beat Cleveland and make their whole city feel bad, it's always a plus for us.
Where did you get that tattoo?
Where? I don't recommend getting tattoos because I cried. Trust me. I got it a long time ago. My mama told me not to, and I should have listened to my mom because it hurts. So don't get a tattoo. It hurts. Trust me.
Why do you smile all the time when you get...
When I get knocked out, why do I smile? I don't know. I think I got a loose screw in my head up here. I'm kind of a little crazy. I don't know. I mean, I love playing football, and I think what better way than to get up smiling after somebody laid you out. I think that makes them even madder at me. So.
After a farewell picture and a big thank you from the kids, it was back to work for number 86. The Pirates' new lineup didn't help them against the Braves. The Braves won 4-2. The loss ends the Pirates' 5-game winning streak, their longest of the season to date. The results of the backup test for Tour de France winner Floyd Landis will be announced Saturday. The International Cycling Unit says researchers at an anti-doping lab outside of Paris will start analyzing the second urine sample. Landis tested positive for elevated testosterone. If the B sample is negative, Landis would be cleared. If it is positive, Landis could be stripped of his Tour victory and banned for 2 years. Well, like I said, it was a hot one up Camp Car today.
I'm sure it was, Malik. Thanks for that. It's the largest dollar increase in the state lottery history. Pennsylvania lottery sales grew by $425 million this year, reaching a record $3 billion total. That leaves the agency with a $400 million surplus to expand property tax programs for senior citizens, prescription drug assistance, and reduced fare public transportation. Remember the Furby? Well, get ready. The man who created it is back with another creepy creation your kids are sure to clamor for Christmas. Meet Pleo, the baby Camarasaurus. The toy dinosaur is about the size of a cat and has lifelike motions and sounds. It has 38 sensors that will allow it to do things like play tug of war. And it almost did one more thing, but it didn't quite pass the test.
I wanted the program to spit, into the, it didn't fly with the company. So he's just kind of yelling into the abyss.
And how much will the cat-sized animated dinosaur cost you? A cool $250, so start saving now.
A group of teenagers spent a week learning about our business in the Pittsburgh Black Media Federation's Frank Bolden Urban Journalism Workshop held at Point Park University. And as anchor Malcolm McNulty reports, they learned there was a lot of hard work behind the glamour.
It's the middle of summer, so what are these students doing in school? They're taking part in a special project organized by the Pittsburgh Black Media Federation. It's the Frank Bolden Urban Journalism Workshop.
We seem to have a good group of young people who wanted to learn, and it moved forward fairly smoothly.
The workshop is designed to put students through an intense week of learning in 4 different areas of journalism.
I learn something new every year, every time I come here, whether it's to write a better lead than the lead that I might have wrote last year, whether it's meeting new people.
I've learned to work hard, and just because you did good one year doesn't always mean it's going to happen like that. I've learned not to rest on my laurels.
Sama Worthy and Corey Carrington are just 2 of more than 20 students taking part in the workshop. Chris Moore is the co-director and someone the students look up to.
I never know what they get out of it, maybe until years later and somebody tells me what they got out of it. What I always hope they get out of it is that they can and they will succeed.
Can you give me a Mr. Moore quote real quick?
You can and you will.
After a week of hard work, including this newscast, the training ends with graduation.
Graduation is usually where I see all the highlights because we've come to the end of it, and people who were doubtful as to whether they could succeed in writing or speaking for TV or publicly or anything else then see their successes, and that's when the highlights come for me.
Here at Point Park University, our print and photography students compile stories and pictures for the newspaper, The Urban Agenda. Here at WAMO Studios, our radio students work to produce a 30-minute newscast. And last but not least, at KDKA Studios, our television students, like myself, work very hard to produce a 30-minute news show, and we all leave the program with a unique experience. I'm Malcolm McNulty from the newsroom for KDKA-TV News.
Workshop participants will celebrate the completion of the program with a graduation ceremony on Saturday, August 3rd at Point Park University's George R. White Theater. A local woman went to the hospital for a simple operation, but came home with a life-threatening disease. Tonight at 5, hear how she ended up contracting a flesh-eating bacteria that could have killed her.
Plus, there's more going on at Steelers camp training than just practice. Find out who's fighting beard wars tonight on KDKA-TV News at 5.
All right, I want to see some more weather. It seems beautiful.
It does seem to be a good week for us. Kimberly?
Well, actually, the weather is actually cooling down a little bit. As you can see on Friday, for those of you who haven't tuned in earlier, it's going to be at a high of 83 with a low of 69. Saturday, 84, low of 60. Sunday, 85 as our high, 65 as our low. Monday, 84 is our high and 68 is our low, along with Tuesday, 80 is our high and 60 is our low. So it seems like we're cooling down a bit, guys.
Thanks, Kim. I can't wait. Well, that's the noon report of KDKA-TV News. Now stay tuned for the Young and the Restless.
Until then, for the latest news, traffic, and weather, you can always go to KDKA.com, where KDKA is always on.
You can see reports you saw in this newscast, plus much more video and news stories. Thanks for watching. Have a positive day.